The new official Big U indictment just dropped, and it's worse than you can imagine. All right, let's get straight into it. We already ran through the federal complaint, so now we're just locking in on the new info from the indictment. They've been on Big U since 2021, and this indictment, it covers everything. They're trying to paint Big U as a murderous extortionist, and they digging deep to back it up. Here's where it gets wild. They put heavy focus on his podcast, Checking In, especially the theme song. Snoop Dogg's on there rapping. If you don't check in, things gonna get ugly when you hit LA. And to the feds, that's all they needed. They're using that to push this whole extortion narrative and tie it back to Big U. Bottom line, the feds building a case off every angle, and they're using Big U's own brand to make their point. That's crazy. The theme song by itself, that's nothing. But when you put it next to everything else going on, it's a whole different story. The feds trying to paint Big U as an extortion kingpin that's been pressing businessmen and celebs for years. Bottom line, feds are taking every little piece and using it to fit their case. Big U's whole brand might end up backfiring on him. Now, this is where the internet gets Big U in trouble, because the fans will also include a video that Big U posted to his Instagram.
Movie production in the hood. Yeah. That's how we do it, you know.
Top flight, baby. Yeah.
GB running this here movie set in the hood.
I'm out here.
We coming out here, checking in with GB, getting these movies done. You better know it. You know what I mean? Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in,
Oh, well. Go check your ass out.
we're gonna check you in, all right? We're gonna do it. We're gonna check in all of your equipment. We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
Yo, this is wild. If you would have told Big U back in 2021 that what he was doing was illegal and the feds are gonna be on his ass, he would have looked at you like you were crazy. To him, it was just some IG stunt, something light. But fast forward to now, this looks ridiculous. Bro, why would you make yourself a target like that? Think about it. You basically out here admitting to extortion, and not just randoms. We're talking about legit businesses that have to get city permits just to film. So after they get all their paperwork straight with the government, they still gotta check in and drop a bag to get the work done? Come on now, that's OD. Bottom line, Big U thought he was just flexing for the gram. But now, the feds are starting to connect the dots, and it's starting to look real ugly for him. This is crazy. The feds pulled out an itemized list of Big U's extortion moves, and this is just from one victim. We talking actual dates, dollar amounts, and whether extortion was successful or just an attempt. But here's the wild part. That's just one victim. The feds got multiple lists just like this for other victims too. Now peep this. The list shows how deep this extortion game ran and how frequent it was. And bro, the video's still going and we still talking about one victim. According to the feds, Biggie was paying his bills off by squeezing business owners who wanted to operate in the community. For example, if somebody wanted to open a corner store in South Central, they had to tap in with Big U. Want to set up an ice cream truck for the kids? Same thing. Big U had to get his cut. And the feds, they say this went on for way too long, and now they're tired of it. They're looking to shut it all down, and Big U's at the center of it. What gets worse? That itemized list, that came from the owner of the dispensary that allegedly Big U and Loose Cannon robbed. This dude is listed in the report as victim 1. So everything we just saw, all that came from one person. Now imagine, if Big U was hitting that one person that hard, imagine how many other people he was extorting. And that's just the extortion part. But wait, there's more. The feds are definitely not just stopping at the extortion part. They're digging into Big U's ventures, LLCs, and so-called nonprofits. They say this man wasn't just running a community organization. Big U was moving money from his nonprofits and his development funds into his personal accounts. He was taking donations and assets that were supposed to go for the community and using it on himself. They talking bank fraud, wire fraud, straight up fraud, just across the board. Bottom line, Big U wasn't just extorting businesses. He was flipping nonprofit money for personal gain. And now, the feds are putting it all on the table. On November 3rd, 2021, feds will allege that Big U transferred $15,000 from Developing Options bank account into his personal account. On March 28th, 2022, feds will claim that Big U transferred $10,000 from his nonprofit Developing Options into his personal account. December 19th, 2022, feds will claim that Big U transferred $5,000 from Developing Options into his personal bank account. It just keeps going. And according to the feds, they don't even think this is a tenth of the money that Big U embezzled. If you just scroll down, and if this is not a tenth of it, then you will count well over $200,000 of money that they claim Big U took for himself when it was supposed to go to the nonprofit. And they were also claiming that Big U secured a lot of donations from celebrities and athletes and other nonprofits through intimidation and extortion. Just like I told you guys in my previous video, the Fed slam dunk ain't even the murder case. It's the wire fraud, bank fraud, and embezzlement. The murder, I think they even got that one locked too. And some even behind the scenes information I got is they're looking into the death of Nipsey Hussle as well. They've got transfers on record, money going straight from the nonprofit into Big U's personal bank accounts, and it's all on tape in 4K clarity. And that's the fallback plan, like I told you. Even if the murder case gets shaky, they can always fall back on Lisa's secure 20-year conviction. But let's talk about the murder. The feds say that Big U went to Las Vegas and allegedly took out his son's best friend, Rayshawn Williams. They were in the studio together that night before the feds alleged that Big U killed him. And here's where it gets deeper. The feds allege that Big U went above and beyond to cover it up. They said he did everything to conceal evidence, mislead the investigators, and did everything he could to throw him off the trail. Bottom line, the murder charge is serious, but if that don't stick, the fraud case alone is enough to put Big U away for a decade. The feds are coming from all different angles, and Big U's options are looking very slim. And this part's wild. The feds say Rayshawn Williams' body was found after Big U allegedly took him out and dumped him. They claim Big U and Rayshawn were in the car together. But here's the slick part. Big U's phone was either on airplane mode or completely off, so there was no data being transmitted. Now here's where it gets messy. After Big U found out that Nevada police were about to interview the studio producer from the night of the murder, he allegedly told the producer and all the employees to stay away from the studio that day. But that's not all. Big U didn't stop there. According to the feds, Big U sent some of his people, identified as DS and others under his Big U enterprise, to the studio. What did they do? They allegedly went in and wiped the security system clean. We're talking about removing security footage and deleting all the data from the night Big U, Rayshawn Williams, and another associate named Robinson were at the studio. Bottom line, the feds say Big U wasn't just trying to cover his tracks. He was orchestrating a full cleanup operation to make sure nobody could tie him to the scene. And if they can prove that, it's a wrap. Now, this is one of those things that's hard to process. The thought that Big U could take out his son's best friend, that's heavy. But when you start looking at text messages, records, and proof that Big U's people went all the way to Las Vegas to wipe out all the evidence and footage, you gotta ask, why go through all that if you're innocent? This ain't some misunderstanding. This was deliberate. Bottom line, when all that evidence stacks up, it's hard not to question what really happened that night. And the feds, they're already piecing it together. January 27th, 2 days after the murder, approximately at 10:03 p.m., KF, another associate from Big U Enterprises, called the Airbnb that Big U allegedly visited that Rayshawn Williams was staying at, because according to the police, Big U and Rayshawn Williams left the studio, drove to the Airbnb, and the footage from the Airbnb showcased that Big U and Rayshawn Williams returned back to the Airbnb. Rayshawn Williams grabbed all of his stuff and they left, and that was the last time Rayshawn Williams was seen. So an associate of Big U, who booked the Airbnb for Rayshawn Williams, contacted the owner of the account that he used to book the Airbnb, and they instructed the owner of the Airbnb not to speak with law enforcement about Rayshawn Williams' murder. Now, I know these are still allegations, but this is straight nonsense. Picture this. You own an Airbnb, and then you get a phone call from one of your customers that stayed at your location for one night, and he says, yo, if the police call you and ask you anything about me, don't tell them nothing. What? If that was the case, even I would have to be like, yo, something's going on, and maybe I should call them now. And whoever KF is, I don't care if he's innocent or not. What was the end game? Did you really think some random Airbnb owner was going to see that message and be like, let me go ahead and risk my whole business for somebody to have no idea who they are? Now, come on. That's delusional. This ain't strategy. This is just dumb as hell. Yo, here's my final take on the situation. I just started digging into this Big U case, and man, every day it gets crazier. From extortion and fraud to murder allegations to cover-ups. I can't even imagine what the people of LA were going through at this time. But one thing's for sure, I'm gonna be here every step of the way to keep y'all tapped in. I'm locked in on this case and bring you updates before the masses catch on. So stay locked in because this story is far from over. And if you made it this far, click right here on the left side of the screen to see why I think Yella Beezy is gonna beat the murder case of Mo 3. But before that, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share to be aware, put me in that algorithm so I need to be there, man. I know there's 10 other streamers out there doing it like me, but
fuck that, I look 10. I'm maxed out.